Hi guys, today I'm gonna make a lot of things. The first one being crepes. So this is gonna take no time at all. I'm gonna turn on the heat, heat up the pan. I got a tiny piece of butter there. That is all the butter I'm gonna put in the pan during this entire cooking. I've also melted some butter in the microwave, just a tiny bit of butter. So the first thing, I'm gonna take 1 deciliter of flour, just a regular all-purpose flour. I'm gonna add some salt and some flour, some salt and some milk to this, and then 1 egg. So just a bit of salt like that. Then I'm gonna crack 1 egg. So 1 deciliter of flour, 1 egg, and 2 deciliters of milk. So like those are the proportions: 1, 1, and 2. 1 egg, 1 deciliter of flour, and 2 deciliters of milk. Okay, so 1 and 2. So if you make larger batches of this, then it might be a good idea to just add half the milk at first to get rid of the lumps of flour, and then to add the rest of the milk. Doing it this way, I mean, with this small amount, it's fine. It's quite easy to get it smooth. There are a few ways of making crepes. One way, or I mean, one category of ways is to just add butter or some fat to the pan before frying each of the crepes. The way I do it is I add just some butter to the pan before the first one, and then I don't add anything else. The only fat I add is this melted butter into the batter. That. I'm also gonna fry them on quite high heat. That way it goes much faster and they become less dry because less moisture has the time to evaporate. Okay, I don't think it's completely hot yet, but that's fine. So, crepes are one of those dishes that was the hardest at first, but after I got the chance to learn how my stove works, how this pan works, you kind of develop this technique for, like, you know how much you can do it, how fast you can pour in the batter, and just how to make it good. So I'm gonna lower the heat just a tiny bit, and then this is how I do it. I take this measure cup, I take the pan, and I do this, and I pour it like this, so it just goes around, and then I just turn the pan, or I twist the pan to make sure the batter covers the whole thing. The first crepe you make will always look a bit different because of the butter in the pan. The ones after this are gonna look completely different. So I'm actually gonna turn the heat up a bit. As you can see, there's a lot of the butter sizzling at the edges of this. That's not going to be the case when doing the second one and the rest. Putting the butter in before I do the first one, that is only to make sure it doesn't stick. So usually when I make a lot of these at the same time, it becomes easier and easier for each crepe. So the first one is kind of difficult. It might stick. It's going to be quite difficult, and it won't look that nice. But after that, they always turn out better. So now I just make sure it doesn't stick. It does not. So this is going to look quite ugly. I'm just going to remove this from the... turning it over. It's kind of nice. And then of course it will require much less time on the second side. So this amount of ingredients, that's enough for 4, maybe 5 crepes, depending on how much you put in the pan, depending on how large your pan is. Maybe 4, which is a bit little. It's not probably not enough for an entire meal for an adult. Might be good for a child, or if you want something else as well. Okay, so this is done. So, okay, I'll show you one more. Same thing with this amount. And you'll hear it start sizzling as soon as you pour it into the pan. Now I'm gonna turn off, lower the heat a bit. Okay, so maybe you can see that on the edges, there are like these small holes. These parts around like the outer centimeter, it will kind of like crisp up, and it will develop what I think in French they call it like a skirt, because it kind of looks like this ballerina skirt. That is going to be really crisp, and sometimes it can be difficult to get this skirt to come off the pan and to loosen, and that's why I put the butter in before. And you'll also see the skirt starting to brown, and when that has become like a bit brown, then you know it's time to flip it, or at least with my pan. So I'm gonna see how it looks. Okay, it's got some color, not too much. And then I can usually just use the spatula or this one to go around like this, making sure it comes off. Doing like this. And maybe you can see that this one looks much drier, which is good. It's not going to be dry at all, but it will not be greasy, so you can eat it with your fingers and it won't be greasy at all. This one, the first one I made, it's going to be really greasy, which is fine. It's good as well, but I like these ones that are they feel a bit lighter. Like that. And then, as you can see, you get some color on the other side as well, quite quickly. It doesn't need more color than this. It looks good. So yeah, I'm gonna make the rest of these, but that is how you make crepes, or at least that's how I make crepes. Thanks for watching.